Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Hobby Dude 007 channel and the Model Car Cup Series. I want us to talk today about MCW paints, but I want us to talk about an area of MCW you may not be aware of. We're going to touch on a little bit of the background as well as a line of the paint that is pretty in-depth that you may not know about. Stick around, we'll have some fun. Model Car World Finishes has been around for a long time. It was founded by Dave Dodge. He had a hobby shop in Ohio by the same name, Model Car World. And when he got into paints, he went by the factory code numbers and created a line of hobby paints. And it has been going ever since. Now, while he had that hobby shop in Ohio, he hired a 14-year-old boy by the name of Mike Guest, the current owner of MCW Paints and Wings, Wheels, and Waves Hobby Shop in Sanford, North Carolina. When Dave retired, he sold MCW to Mike, again, the current owner, and Mike has kept the high standard of paints, and in fact, he's even expanded the military colors. So there's just some absolutely awesome stuff out there. The accuracy of the paint is awesome. If you remember the replica I made of Amanda's 69 Barracuda, as you see here, and dead match, the Sunfire Mopar color, Sunfire Blue, metallic, and just awesome. And I used their, I guess that's a 1K clear that you see here, which is number 1017. This is a hard finish and it's airbrush ready. That's the other good thing about the lacquer line. And he does the lacquers and enamels, like I said. And all of the lacquers come pre-thinned, ready to go in the airbrush. And I can't say enough about this clear. It's a single stage, but it's really good stuff. Accuracy wise, it's dead on. And in his racing colors, most of us, if you're built Salvino kits or race cars, you know that the petty blue is a big thing. And he does have that. And as you see here, you have it in the 1 ounce airbrush ready, pre-thinned lacquer. And you have the enamel in the 1/2 ounce bottle. Now, once you reduce it, well, thin it and then add your hardener, you're going to get this much out of this. If you like enamels, I love these. My Pearson 69 car, it was painted with MCW paints. My Superflow car was painted with MCW paints. The 200-mile-an-hour Dodge Daytona, 69 Daytona, was painted with MCW paints. I'm sold on the stuff. I use a lot of Tamiya paints too, but this stuff is top drawer. And y'all see Matthew over at Model Car Videos uses a ton of the enamels. And he has some great results with them. I use the enamels to do some touch-up. But as far as the accuracy of the petty blue, this is number 2010 in the lacquer, and 2010E, which is the enamel, gloss blue. This is the petty blue. And I picked this up at Petty Enterprises a number of years back, and you see here, there's your paint code, and this is RM. There's your paint code. This is Petty Enterprises Petty Light Blue. And there's your code again. This is a 50-50 mix. But I'm showing you that for this. We'll take the 2010 Super Blue, which is the petty blue, and as you see, it is a dead match. And same with the enamel. Let me get it over here where you can see it a little better. Same with the enamel. I also have a fender. I keep saying fender. It's actually a front piece off of Harry Gant's Skoal Oldsmobile from many years ago. It's just too big to put up here, guys, so I didn't do that. But using MCW's Skoal Green, dead match. Great, great stuff. Now, as far as we know about the petty colors, But did you know just how in-depth the racing colors are from MCW Paints? First of all, let's go over the computer. I'll show you some pictures here of how you find them on the website. When you get to the website, go up here and you'll see in the center these three words. Go over to the right and you'll see more. When you click on more, you'll get a drop down, and as you see here, it says Racing Color References. Click on that and you'll get a PDF you can download. Well, be sure you do that. And you can look at it right there on the computer, or do like I do, and then I highlight them. As you see here, I printed it off. It is 8 pages, 2 columns per page on 8 pages. Now, typically, we think of, okay, racing colors as most of us car modeler guys, NASCAR, something like that. Guys, there's far more than NASCAR on here. It's mostly NASCAR, from the 50s all the way into, well, here's, for example, the AMP number 88 green. There's your code number. But lots and lots. There's NHRA. There's F1, Indy. Here's the Benetton F1 car from 2005. There's your blue. If you remember, that car is a lot of colors. Blue, green, light blue, yellow, all kinds of stuff. There's your Bentley Speed 8. You've got the British Racing Green. You've got a lot of stuff other than that. And I'll show you some of the NHRA stuff too. But there's no way we're going to go through all of these things. But like I said, you can pull it up and look at it. Or like I do, print it off and then highlight what you want to look at specifically. Anything that's got the hashtag in front of it requires a clear coat. So when you're looking at the numbers and you see that, you know you're going to need to order you a bottle of clear. Now you'll also see here, see interchange for aerosol numbers. The aerosol numbers were different. I've used some of the aerosols when Dave had the company years ago, and they're really good. I don't remember whether Mike City was doing aerosols or any new aerosols or not, but you can check with him on that. But again, the quality of this stuff is awesome, and the paint matches are just unbelievable. Let's see. I did want to share with you just something before we get into it. Here we go. I highlighted this. Dave had a lot of contacts when he had the company, when he was in, I think it was Burlington, North Carolina, in the racing arena, and he had contacts to be able to get the paint codes and color codes and all that stuff. I always thought that the Piedmont Airlines car, as you see here, there's the number for the Piedmont Blue, and Petty Blue were pretty darn close to being the same, but let me see where I put it. There we go. There's the Piedmont Airlines blue, and there's the Petty Blue. So you see, it's close. It is close. This is more. This is closer to a Ford Grabber blue, but there is a difference, and the same goes for a lot of this stuff. And something I heard about but wasn't totally sure was Petty Blue over the years. Pre-STP. Now we know the Super Blue, which is the current blues that they use, as well as the STP, was this 2010 Super Blue. But you notice we had the non-STP prior to STP 2062. So it was, and quite honestly, it's very, very close. I can see a little bit, maybe lighter in the older, and it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see a difference. But the fact that they went to the trouble to get the two distinct blues for the STP and pre-STP, that's pretty good. That is pretty cool. Okay, let me see if there's something I'm forgetting. I probably am, and I'll come back to that later if I remember it. What I want to do now is just kind of bounce around some obscure colors and stuff, and kind of share those with you on some of these things. As you see, you got the old number 98 RCA, the RC Cola. There's just all kinds of stuff. The Renault F1, the 2088 yellow and white. Just all of these codes. And guys, like I said, there's 8 pages, double column. And I'm going to just bounce around at some kind of obscure NASCARs first, and then we're going to take a look at a few NHRA, I think. Yeah, we'll do a couple of NHRA. But like I said, if you're looking for something specific and accurate in a color, great stuff, great stuff. Like I said, I did my Pearson. Let me see if I can find it. Well, the 69 championship car, just all kinds of stuff. Number 28 Ironman. They're just, it's crazy. If you want your Days of Thunder cars, and we'll touch on some of those too. But stick around. I'll kind of readjust some pictures, and then we'll talk about some of these colors you can get here. Little change of plans, guys. I was going to just do a slideshow of some kind of obscure race cars, drag cars, that kind of and NASCARs with some music, and then come back and talk about them on here. But I think what I would rather do is just go through this. I've taken and highlighted each page, some just unusual or some popular, and some of them because of Salvino's releases. I put those in here too. But I thought it would be better if we just kind of went through these, like I said, shotgunning them, and then discuss or showing a picture as we discuss the colors. And remember, your paint number for your clear is, and these are lacquers that we're going to be talking about, but there is an interchange on the lacquers and the enamels, so most of these are going to be available. Just add the E to the end of the number. The lacquer numbers are what we're going to be talking about today, though. And again, just remember to add that E to the end, and you'll know it's an enamel. But the 1017 is clear, and as I've said, great depth. I really like it. I really do. And any of the colors, of course, if you remember, I think I mentioned, if it has the hashtag, it requires a clear coat and a white lacquer base coat if it's got the star. And you're going to, well, I think most of us already know that your transparent colors are going to require a silver background, and your fluorescent colors require that white. Well, let's get into it. Well, first up, we know that Salvino's released the Aluguard number 27, and there's your 2007 blue, and you see that here. It's a beautiful car with that red interior. It really was something. Then the AMC Matador, any of those AMCs that were always painted red, white, and blue. These are for the numbers 12 and 16, of course, Mark Donohue and Bobby Allison. And there's your red and blue color code numbers. And by the way, universal application colors, your black, number 2000, white, 2001, that is an excellent bright white too, guys. Gold and silver. That's your AMT. Getting over here, now, you know, I mentioned in the beginning about this Benetton F1 car, and here's a look at it, and there's all of your paint numbers. And we know the popularity of Dale Jr., of course, so we discussed briefly the amp number 88, but check out, there's your number 8, the All-Star Game from 2002. There's your paint code for the red. And you'll notice it's the same paint number for the born on date for the 05 Daytona. But as you see, all of these teams, all of this stuff, and I'm just, again, highlighting some of them to give you an idea. Cartoon Network. The reason I chose this one is Cartoon Network cars were always cool. You had the Woody Woodpecker, which was all of these are something, but they were in every color. You had purple, you had blue, you had red, you had lime green, yellow, just all kinds of colors to these things. And there you see all of your Cartoon Network colors. Let all these cars get through here. And chassis dove gray. A lot of people want to know what you use. There you go. When the Testors line was around, I used to use gloss gull gray, and I would add just 2 or 3 drops of white into it. Honestly, it didn't really need it. But there's your chassis gray. Some of your classic colors, the Coca-Cola, the old Coca-Cola red and gold, the Bobby Allison car. I'm old school, so I'm going to hit some of these too, guys. Moving on to Awesome Bill, the number 9 Coors car. You've got your red and the blue for the Coors Light. And another reason I hit this one is the Salvino 212 mile an hour car. There's your colors, guys. Moving on, I had mentioned that I had done the 200 mile an hour number 88 69 Daytona that Buddy Baker drove when he broke that 200 mile an hour barrier. Cool car, huh? Going on, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Well, Grandpa, let's put it that way. Ralph Earnhardt, his 64 Chevelle, which was kind of a beige color. Most of his cars were, and this is the Doc Cycle. You see that. And the 10,000 RPM special, number 8, which was Dale Sr.'s rookie car, Dodge Charger, as you see here. And something else that we'll be seeing probably more of is the Folgers car. If you remember Tim Richmond, great driver. Had we not lost him, who knows where he would have gone. And the red interior, or excuse me, the red. And the decaf version that Benny Parsons drove was green, if you remember, just like the can. So you've got your available colors there. Now, Big Bad Dale, the man in black. You've got the black, but you notice the silver's not that generic silver that they had on the front there. It's a little bit different. The interior color, the red for the early days. And then even in the Goodwrench, the number 29, when Kevin Harvick started driving, there's your red. The Olympic colors, the blue and red, and of course that generic bright white. The Bass Pro, which is that gold metallic. The Taz car, and the Winston, and 600 Special. I mean, check it out. A lot of cool stuff. And the Hawaiian Tropic Red, which is that kind of deep maroon, beautiful color actually. Heilig Myers Furniture. So there you go. You've got that green, and there's different things for different years. As you see, for 98 there was a red, and I did not do some of the Heinz 57, but he's got all these colors. And of course, since Salvino's did the Holly Farms car of Kale's, there you go. You've got that orange and red. And again, guys, I'm just shotgunning. If you pull this up, like I said, and just go down through here, you'll find all kinds of cool stuff. One of the things, when I did my Hearst Harry Oldsmobile years ago, many years ago, I had no clue what kind of gold to use. And what I ended up using was just Tester's gold, which turned out to be atrocious once I got the clear coat on it. But that's a tale for another time. But there's your Hearst Gold Metallic. A lot of great stuff down here. That Jasper engine car with all those colors on it, that was always a good looking one too. Jungle Jim's funny car. I was going to kind of do the drag cars to end, but we're going to just do them as we go. Jungle Jim's funny car had, well, depending on what it was, the Camaro, the Nova were the blue, and then later on the Monza. Just some of those other ones had the I think it was a burnt orange, kind of reddish, kind of hard to say, but pretty cool. Then we've got the old Kodak color. Now that Kodak yellow is unique. It's not just any old yellow that you can use. It's got, Kodak film boxes had their own color. Then you've got the Kodiak, and the reason I shot this one was, you know, the 27 back early on, that green was different from later years where it was a little darker green. And as you see, all of these different car numbers, number 41, 27, 25, 41, the light green, dark green, it changed. And that's another good thing I like about the MCW paints is they were well researched and kept up with there for a while. And you know, I just happened to notice the Kings Row, Benny Parsons Kings Row Cart Gold. Next up is our Bill Golden Maverick, the 63 64 Dodge. That was always a cool car, and it was a fast car as well. All right, let's talk about Days of Thunder for a second. You've got the mellow yellow colors, and as you see in this one of the 42 car with the 18 up above it there, those were fluorescent colors, the greens, but they were different fluorescents the different teams used. But here's your paint code, or your code number, or your paint numbers there. And speaking of Days of Thunder, I'm not going to get into the rest of them right now, but if you remember the Goodies car, it had that magenta, beautiful car. In fact, Jay Severis did one of the most beautiful renditions of that car that I've ever seen. I mean, just awesome. If you wanted to do that one, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's a magenta, and hold on here a sec. The lacquer is number 3002, and that's got to be done over silver. And if you do the enamel, it's number 2410E, and that's transparent magenta enamel for the Goodies car. And that one, like I said, that's just a good-looking car there, isn't it? Really something. And then we do get to our neon colors. I've used several of these. The pink is what I used on my Superflow car, and that was over a white base. You've got and I'd like to try this neon blue. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm going to try it. Chartreuse, green, orange, pink, red, vermilion, which we know that's the petty color, yellow. So, and again, all of those require white base and clear coat. And guys, again, we could sit down and go through all of this, but why? It just would take way too long. And this video is probably going to get long anyway. I mentioned David Pearson Holman and Moody 69 championship car, and there's your blue and your gold colors there. And then the STP, or the petty colors, you've got the blue, which is the STP, which is the 2010, the super blue we just looked at, and the 2011, which is the vermilion. And then the petty blue that was non-STP, which is number 2062. Cool. And the Piedmont Airlines car, we kind of showed you the difference in that, even though it looks kind of close. And there's your number 2048 for the Piedmont car. Purelator. And they also included the Purelator number 10 that Derek Cope won the Daytona 500 in with that neon red. And then you've got the red that is for the number 21 for the Pearson car, which is number 2125, metallic red. Quaker State green, and of course, as you see here, that's a little bit brighter than that skull was. But I always thought that car, the Quaker State car, was a really pretty car. And a popular car was the Race Hill Farms, which was the yellow and white with the blue separation stripe. I always thought that was just a good-looking car. And next up was another car I really thought was sharp. Never really cared for Red Baron pizza that much. I mean, if I'm hungry, I'll eat it. But I always thought the race cars were really sharp. You had the number 90, and then you had the number 88 that Buddy Baker drove. But I always thought they had a really cool-looking race car. That red, white with a black on it just looked good. Just looked good. So Red Baron Red, 2067. Marty Robbins. Everybody knows that that whole purple and yellow, and there was purple, yellow, and green in there too at one time. And there's your 2130 is your purple, and 2032 is your yellow. And Fireball Roberts. In 63, 64, he had the cars were lavender, and the numbers were white with blue outlines, and they also had a purple lavenderish metallic, which was really cool. White numbers with some red borders around them, and those were really, really tough as well. Good-looking car, as you see here. And then in funny cars, you had the Gas Ronda, which you can still get that kit. And I think it's a funny car as well as a gasser. You can get it in both renditions. But there's your color, 6434. Next, there's your skull colors. You had the dark green, the medium green. And then in 95, you had the interior green, 2000. You see how some of these teams, everything changed up a little bit. And then you had the skull car that Phil Parsons drove that was red, kind of a dark red. Cool. This car, I always thought, when I was walking through the pits and got a close-up look at it, and this was just a cool car. This Slender U Pontiac had a maroon front end, and it faded back into pink with this great big tape measure around it. And I don't know why, up close, whoever did the bodywork did a great job, but it was very unusual, and you could still find the decals for this. And there's your paint numbers. This next one, I had to put it on here because it was one of my favorite race cars when the Luminas, about the second year of the Lumina. It was a Hendrick car, and it was number 18, and it was slim fast. And this thing was awesome. I mean, check that out. The yellow, the red, the white. I don't know why. I love that car. It just really looked cool. And so I thought, when I saw it on here, I thought, well, I'll share that picture with you too. And of course, the snake and the mongoose. Don Perdome and Tom McEwen. There's your paint code for the yellow on the Cuda, and I should have marked the mongoose. I'll go back to that later. Then you had your Sox and Martin, Pro Stock, and 64 to 67, the white, the blue, the red, and then 68 to on. There were your red, white, and blue colors that Sox and Martin run. Really cool stuff, huh? And down here, you notice this STP number 11. This would have been for 1972, number 2006. And then the turbine car. If you remember that Indy turbine car that came out, it's the Vermilion, or the 2011 Neon. If you remember, in 1971, the GTO that David Pearson drove had the fluorescent red. It was actually sponsored by STP. And I am a fan of Texas Pete. Well, I'm a fan of a lot of hot sauces, but Texas Pete, I always thought they had a colorful car too. Really cool, huh? And again, guys, you see what I'm not covering? I'm just touching on some of my favorites anyway, but give you some ideas. The Mickey Thompson Dragsters and Land Speed car, as you see here. And there's your paint numbers for that. And of course, the ever popular Tide Ride. So there's your Tide yellow and the neon orange. It's always a good looking car. If you remember Dick Trickle, when he first started, there was his 69 Mustang, that purple A&W sponsored number 99. And there's the number 6701 dark purple metallic. Saw that car run at the Fairground Speedway in Springfield, Missouri, and win, by the way. And that was back in the 70s. Curtis Turner's 56 Ford, and that's that purple, as you see there. Number 5530. And we couldn't get out without going with UPS Brown. I don't know. For some reason, when they first started doing UPS sponsorship and the race car was brown, I just thought that was the ugliest thing. But they changed up the paint jobs, and it kind of changed my mind a little bit later on. And lastly, guys, we cannot leave out the Wrangler cars. The number 2, the number 3, the 15, 31, all of these things, all of the Wrangler cars that Dale Sr. drove and Bud Moore had, and some great stuff there. But again, as you see, I've just shotgunned through this thing, guys. There's so much more. Whatever your favorite ones are, if you want something obscure, then you know, hey, look through it. Bojangles, yellow, red. Just pull up the PDF, open it, and you don't have to print it off if you don't want to. I keep a copy just where I can look up something really quick. I just happen to see 65 Comet Poppy Red. Don Nicholson, drag racing stuff. And there is, again, a lot of F1 colors and Indy colors in here too. It is predominantly NASCAR, but hey guys, it's great reference material as far as getting your color codes, or your colors anyway. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's about it, guys. I just wanted to share that with you real quick. Listen, if you want some of those great enamels, head on over to HobbyNut Models. Check out Mark's inventory. Great stuff. Big sale through Christmas. I just got an email from him again this morning about what's going on currently. So head over there and check that out. Pick you up some MCW paints and supplies. Yeah, hey, it's Christmas. Get yourself a model kit. Well, I guess that's it, guys. Thanks for tagging along. I hope this was helpful. Again, pull it up, take a look at it. God bless. Have an awesome weekend. I will see you in the next video. Thank you, guys.